Ahoy, mateys! Steve the Pirate 89 here, and today I'm going to be teaching you a juggling trick known as the factory. So I would call this an intermediate type of juggling move, and you're going to need a few things. You're going to need three balls or bean bags, a can-do attitude, and also a few prerequisite tricks that you should know how to do first. So let's go ahead and show you what it looks like just so that you get the idea of what it is. So this is the factory. It looks very complicated, but it actually is just a few smaller tricks that we can break down, and that's what we're going to do now. Let's start with the first thing you need to be able to master, and that move is called columns. So for this, you need two balls, and you can do these either right-handed or left-handed, depending on your dominant hand. I'm right-handed. I can do left-handed columns, but they're not very good. So let's start with columns in the right hand. So once you can do your columns, the next thing you're going to be able to need to do is a move called the fake. So what I'm going to do here, so I start with my columns, and then using this ball, I'm going to fake or mimic the pattern of the outside ball. This is definitely the part that you're going to have to get down pretty solid so that you can have a nice tight factory. Okay, now the last part, and this is where it gets a little tricky. Whenever I'm doing my columns, when the outside ball, the fake ball, reaches the top with this ball, it's going to go up and over and drop. And once you do that, you're going to have to grab the other ball, and that's going to become your new fake ball. So it's sort of a one-for-one transfer. We can edit this, right? Yeah, okay, we're going to edit this. That's fine. So let's talk a little bit about this fake ball. So while you're doing these fakes leading into the factory, you'll notice that there's a couple different ways you can do it. You can either hold it like this, or if you want that ball to stand out a little better, hold it like this. And that's going to make it stand out a lot more. So this is going to become very difficult to do once you actually start doing the move itself in order to grab that ball and take it back out like this. But it's still going to add a little bit of flash for the first part of the trick, and if you're quick enough, during the trick itself. All right, so now for the transfer. We're going to do just one. Let's see that again. There are two versions of the factory that you should be able to master for maximum effect. So the first one is the square version of the factory, which is the one that most people are familiar with. So again, columns in the right hand, a fake in the left hand, and then we're just going to go up and over. Now the round version of this trick also utilizes two balls in one hand. However, instead of doing columns, we're going to be using the rolling out technique. I think this one will be perhaps somewhat easier for beginner jugglers, as columns are notoriously more difficult to maintain than the rolling out pattern. Okay, so now I'm going to show you the round version. I'm going to begin the same way with a square factory and then transfer in to the rolling out round version. Here's something to note about that, and you might not be able to catch this with the same colored balls, but you'll notice that for my rolling out pattern, there's one ball that always stays exactly in the center, rising up, while the other two balls more or less just transfer around it. So to emphasize that, I'm going to swap out another ball. If you want to do this intentionally, you'll notice that my different ball that I want to showcase is going to be on the right side of my column whenever I start doing this. And there you have it. Two versions of the factory. The square version, and the round version. Thanks for sticking with me today through all the drops, most of which were edited out. And be sure to stay tuned for more instructional juggling videos in the future. I've been Steve the Pirate, the Dude Abides, and we'll see you next time.